I told you last week about this total scam deal that Donald Trump made to get Carrier, the air conditioner company, to keep 1,000 jobs in Indiana. And it was such an obvious scam. Initially, Carrier was going to move 2,000 jobs to Mexico. Trump bragged that he made a deal to have them keep 1,000 jobs in Indiana. Many people not asking the question of, well, what about that other 1,000? Because 1,000 is only half of 2,000. Part of the agreement is to just give Carrier a whole bunch of money. Part of the agreement is Trump reportedly agreed he would stop pushing on the 35% tariffs against companies that move jobs overseas. Although it seems maybe Trump went back on that because today I heard he is going to be pushing for the 35% thing. Who even really knows? But the point was, it's so obviously bogus and rancid crony capitalism because you can't, this is not economic policy. And I think I don't want to belabor that. We talked about that last week. This isn't a policy. You can't just give every company that's thinking of leaving money. And it's also not a free market solution. Okay. Even Sarah Palin, even clueless Sarah Palin realizes that this is totally crony capitalism. She wrote an op-ed actually, you know what? Let me say it differently. Sarah Palin's name appeared as the author of an op-ed on the Young Conservatives website, and she's calling this deal out. She said, quote, "When government steps in arbitrarily with individual subsidies favoring one business over others, it sets inconsistent, unfair, illogical precedent. Meanwhile, the invisible hand that best orchestrates a free people's free enterprise system gets amputated. Then special interests creep in and manipulate markets. Republicans oppose this, remember? Instead, we support competition on a level playing field, remember? Because we know special interest crony capitalism is one big fail. There are also some establishment conservatives, like the Wall Street Journal editorial board, which is conservative, have come out against the Carrier deal, arguing that it is not upholding free market principles. That's true that it's not upholding free market principles. But what Sarah Palin is getting at here is that there's an even more corrosive aspect, which is that crony capitalism, business as usual, is continuing under Donald Trump. Now, question one, Pat, did you believe Sarah Palin actually wrote this or that she put her name on it?
No, there's no way that Sarah Palin has been reading up on Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. There's just no way.
So it still means something that she's willing to put her name on it. And I believe it means that even though it hasn't been officially announced, Sarah Palin learned she is not going to have a cabinet position in Donald Trump's administration. That's my interpretation of her signing her name to this.
What a shame. She was being considered for Secretary of the Interior, I'm pretty sure. And I guess it's not going to happen. She's not jockeying for position anymore.
Apparently not, which actually is a good thing because that would be really, really bad for the United States of America. Sarah Palin's completely right, though. And our friend Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks made a comment, which was interesting, which he said, Trump gave away some tax breaks to keep the jobs. He's going to get political credit. The fact that this is a bogus way to keep jobs is not going to be remembered. What Trump's base will remember is Trump kept the jobs and the details will be lost. That's true. And Cenk is absolutely right. If other conservatives don't come out like Sarah Palin has and say, whoa, 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 stop the clock, this doesn't make as much sense as we thought. So I think that this could go both ways. It's clearly crony capitalism. It is clearly a bogus deal. It is clearly not a way to actually bolster the economy, broadly speaking. Nothing has changed big picture about the business environment in the United States of America because Trump and Pence offered a particular company some money to keep half of the jobs they're planning to bring to another country. The broader economic climate hasn't changed. And that's why this is a completely unsustainable way of quote, keeping jobs. And again, the secondary story here, I wonder who went to Trump and said, hey, listen, Secretary, running Department of Veterans Affairs, Sarah Palin, or Secretary of the Interior, whatever it was that has been floated for her, the different possible titles, really, really bad idea. Who do you think could have even gone to Trump and said that? I think it could have actually been someone like Ivanka who goes, listen, Dad, you don't want Sarah Palin involved with this.
Well, I think it's just evident by the fact that she was one of the biggest reasons in taking down John McCain's campaign. I think that alone would do it.
You would think that everybody in the Republican Party would see Sarah Palin as so toxic after she single-handedly took down John McCain's campaign in 2008 that they wouldn't consider having her again. But she showed up on stage and gave that rambling, barely coherent endorsement Although it's hard to tell if it's even an endorsement, Pat, because I didn't understand a lot of the sentences that she put together, but it was at least framed as an endorsement of Donald Trump, and Trump looking slightly pained, like he had maybe had, some bad halal chicken outside of Trump Tower, the look on his face, but apparently pained more by what Sarah Palin was saying, and apparently logic at some point being injected here, and every indication that Sarah Palin will have no part in the incoming Donald Trump administration. There's a really good discussion thread about this exact carrier deal on our Reddit discussion forum. I encourage you to check it out. Go to davidpakman.com/Reddit. That's REDDIT. We'll take a quick break and be back after this.